Good afternoon and welcome to Brunch and Budget on Bondfire Radio with your host, Pamela Appalled, a certified financial planner here to help take the bite out of your budget, brunchandbudget.com. I'm your sound provider, Dyalekt, and here's your host, Pamela Appalled.
Thank you, Dyalekt, and thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We are live in the studio today.
Yes.
I guess
like we're always
we're always live in the studio.
We live in the studio.
We're sleeping here right now.
No, we're awake currently.
It's true. And we got Tasty Quiche engineering today.
We're awake, but we're not conscious.
Oh, I bet a little bell rang for that joke.
Since he's not here, I wanted to shout this out. Not a lot of people know this about Conscious, but when you hear the name Conscious, you think like conscious rapper. He's all aware. That's not actually the origin of his name. When I first met Conscious out on the poetry scene, he was known as Stream of Conscious. Which, that's a completely different context.
I think you just called him out.
Doesn't it? It's not calling him out. He performed over stages all over the place. It just, when you meet him now, you hear the name Conscious and you think of one thing. Yes. But then when you hear the origin, that makes so much more sense for the type of cat he is. You're like, word.
I love it. Shout out to Conscious. You're here even when you're not here.
Stream of Conscious.
I love it. So today we're going to talk about something that is very near and dear to my heart. There's been a lot of controversy around this. The Department of Labor is putting out a new fiduciary rule. And this is something that we talk about a lot on the show, the difference between someone who's a fiduciary, who basically has your best interest at heart, and people who are required to do that and take the fiduciary oath. And then there are people who aren't necessarily required to do that, who only have to make sure that a product is suitable for you.
If you remember from Gold Bean, the mnemonic was to put the douche in fiduciary.
Yes, or to take the douche out of fiduciary.
Oh, right, yeah, exactly.
Yes, fiduciaries are good people. And so right now the Department of Labor is working on passing a bill through Congress that will expand the rule to apply to people who have retirement accounts and give them to investment advisors, roll them over to investment advisors. So they're going to require that the investment advisor acts in the best interest of your retirement account. Now that sounds awesome, right?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there is tons of backlash around it. People saying, oh, it's going to cost the consumer so much more. Middle-class Americans aren't going to get the advice they need, blah, blah, blah. Oh, you don't even know. And then on the flip side of it, they're actually expanding the definition of fiduciary to include any person who claims that they're a financial professional giving individual financial advice, such as David Ramsey, who has recently been on Twitter saying this is going to ruin the middle class's ability to get advice. Also, he's spinning the same rhetoric because his radio show that is very, very popular, it's top 3 listened to radio show in the nation, and he gives individualized advice to callers. And if it's bad advice at this moment, there are no repercussions for David Ramsey if he gives bad advice. Ooh, that drop right there was nice.
Yeah. Drop that on there just so you can get the real.
Yes. There are no repercussions right now for people who claim that they are financial experts, give you advice, the advice goes wrong, and you have no way to say, hey, you didn't know what you were talking about, and now all my money is gone.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
So they're changing that.
Yeah, and we talk about that a lot on this show, how it's really important if you're going to somebody for financial advice that they have on their end, if they do you wrong, there are some consequences for them.
Yes.
That's really important. If you got somebody who's completely unregulated, they can say whatever they want.
It's true. Yo.
And they do. There are tons of people out there, and especially with the advent of the internet and your mommy blog type things.
And you know what people are saying about this? They're saying, this is a violation of free speech. Yeah, we're going to have some words for that. But we do have an investment appetizer today to warm us up.
Happy things.
Yes, happy things. We're going to talk about the difference between a bear market and a bull market.
Oh, that's always fun.
Yes.
People talk about that a lot, right? The bear and the bull.
The bear and the bull.
It's a stock thing.
It is a stock thing, and it basically is used to describe whether the market is up or down. It actually comes from the way that each animal attacks their opponent. So a bear market, when the market is going down, a bear paws down at their opponent.
Like in The Revenant, right?
Yeah, and then I guess falls down on them. I don't know.
Pop culture references.
That was a terrible movie.
Yeah, no, people loved it. I think it won all.
I think Leo finally got his Oscar.
It won all the Oscars.
Another white dude talking about how he's saving Native Americans.
Well, no, he didn't. You know, the actual story from The Revenant, this is digressing like a mug, but in the actual story that they got it from, apparently he just wanted his gun back. But I guess the movie people was like, they ain't going to be into it, Leo just getting his gun back. Well, why don't we give him a little mulatto boy for him to save?
Instead
Or
of
to
his
avenge,
gun.
No, because of course, because the little colored boy had to die.
Immediately. Immediately. Sorry to ruin the movie for you, but that happens in 20 minutes. But yeah, anyway, so yes.
The bear wins.
Like the bear in The Revenant, a bear market, they paw down, so that's when a market's going down. And then a bull market is opposite, so a bull apparently uses
it gores
horns.
up.
It gores up. So you watch out for those
Who
bulls.
the heck came up with that? That's a reach.
That's a reach.
That's such a reach. That's
and
crazy.
now it's just a thing.
They gotta have some other you gotta have some dirtier meaning. I'm gonna look some and they were like, it's because a bear paws downward.
Yeah, totally. And a bull with its horns. So that's
right,
the bull on Wall Street. So anyway,
yeah. So
that's the basic
so what does it do? What does it actually mean?
Yeah, and so a bear market, really what people are usually afraid of are bear markets. And the idea of a bear market, it's not like, seeing the market go down for a day or two or a month or whatever. A bear market is actually... It lasts for at least 2 months. So the market has been going down for at least 2 months, and it's gone down at least about 20%. And so this possibly sounds really familiar to what we talked about a couple weeks ago about a recession. And so a recession is kind of a similar, they sometimes go together and they often do, but you can actually have a bear market and not have a recession. In fact, we are in one right now. So people are saying that we might be entering a bear market, but we are not actually, nothing is indicating that we're entering a recession.
Huh.
So the people are just not necessarily confident in the stock market right now.
Well, check this out. I know the basic stock market rule is buy low, sell high, right?
Right.
And if it's not a recession, which I understand, everyone's panicked because no one has faith in anything. If there's a bear market, isn't that, if I'm a purveyor of the stock market, aren't I just going to be like, I'm going to monitor these and see what the low point is so I could buy in? Yeah,
the trouble with that is that it's really hard to predict what the low point actually is. That's the problem in general trying to time the market, is it's really, you don't know what the low is. That's the whole point, is that you don't know when it's going to hit bottom until it starts going back up. Right.
No, I feel that. But I mean, even then, say you get in the game before it hits rock bottom, don't we have a general understanding and faith? And tell me if I'm wrong about this, because I'm not trading every day. But don't we have a general understanding that it's a roller coaster and things tend to bounce back? So I would figure if we're in a bear market and we're in month 1.5, I'm going to go buy some stuff. Even if it's not the lowest, I'm not getting the best deal, I'm going to be all right.
Totally. Well, that's why we talked about dollar cost averaging a couple weeks ago, too, where you don't use your emotions or what you see happening in the market to decide how you're going to invest. You come up with a plan and you say, I'm going to stick to this plan no matter what the market looks like, and I will ride the roller coasters up and down with it, but I won't try and be like, I'm going to try and predict that it's a low, so I'm going to buy more and all of that kind of stuff.
Right, and I know that I'm an emotional human and I'll mess up, but isn't that the whole reason why I go to somebody to do that? Because they're going to be able to take out all the emotion and just do that?
Yeah, so they're going to be the ones saying, hey, you should dollar cost average.
Got you. And is that what's happening? Is that what I feel like that's not what happens in the bear market then, because it would always bounce back.
Well, I think that what's happening really when the market goes down is just the whole people just are less confident in the stock market. There's other things going on in the economy and things like that do that.
Okay, so it's the other things that are keeping cats from becoming predators of the situation.
Yes.
Word.
Yeah, totally. So that's the basic premise of a bear market. And again, it's a roller coaster. It's hard to really know what is causing the market to go down at any time. People always have their theories and their predictions, and you can read a bunch of stuff about it. But in general, we're just kind of in a place where it's okay, the stock market was up for a really long time, and now we're in a down cycle.
Word.
Yeah. So that was your investment appetizer, bear market versus bull market. And now we're going to talk about David Ramsey and the new Department of Labor fiduciary rule. And the reason why I want to focus on David Ramsey in particular is because he was all over Twitter. And he got into
Because he was all over Twitter, that's why. He's popular on social media, so we're going to talk about
Well, here's
him.
the thing. He's popular in general, and he's a really big name in the financial expert. He writes a lot of books. He has this weekly radio show.
Right. And he doesn't have any sort of financial credentials?
No, he doesn't. None at all.
Not like
Nothing.
He didn't go to like a money camp?
Nope. No licenses, no financial credentials. And he tweeted, "This Obama rule will kill the middle class and below's ability to access personal advice."
Yowza.
In response to a tweet by Representative Marsha Blackburn, a Republican in Tennessee, who slammed the rule as a one-size-fits-all regulations that means less access and higher costs for families seeking retirement advice.
How a sucker just put Obama in front of a law and then make it a pejorative?
Yeah.
You notice that's just...
This Obama rule.
Well, this is how you know that our president is black, because that's what they used to do. When something was bad, they put black in front of it. You have magic. Magic's awesome, right? Black magic? No, that sucks. You got a hat. Hats are great. Black hat, you a bad guy. It's the same thing. Healthcare's great. Oh, you should care for your health.
But Obamacare.
Right? This is... Man.
Yes. So David Ramsey is saying this rule is going to mean people will not have access to financial advice. And the reasoning for that in a lot of people's heads who are making these claims is that, okay, so now that we don't get commission for selling people these products,
Yep.
what is our incentive going to be to even talk to them? That's the whole thing. It's like, okay, so now that we're not going to get paid secretly behind the scenes for this.
These cats want they get their fee-based and eat it too?
Yep, basically. So just to break down what the new fiduciary rule is, I want to really explain it and give you guys an idea of like all the different parts that are going on with it. Because there's a couple different things going on.
Because, from what the detractors are saying, it sounds kind of apocalyptic.
Yeah, I know. They're like, oh my God, no one will get retirement advice anymore. Free speech, the First Amendment is under fire. All this stuff is like going on.
I'm confused. It just sounds like it's more regulation, right? That's all.
Yeah, basically, which of course people think is like, why do we need to regulate people? The government doesn't need to put their hand in this. And, 2008.
Man, you're tap water drinking behind.
So basically, this is like kind of the next step. So most people, when they have investments, they're in retirement accounts, they're in 401ks, they're in pensions. If you leave your job, then you most likely will roll it over to an IRA, or you leave it in your 401k, whatever. But for a lot of investment advisors, hearing that someone has an old 401k means, oh, that means that I can access that money, put them into another retirement account that I can, sell them a product into. That's kind of the thought process of, an investment salesman. And I'm going to call them what they are. They're salespeople at the end of the day. They can advise you on stuff at this point, but they're also trying to sell you a product. And that's the reality of it. I'm not going to beat around the bush there. So
and that's not... It's something that's not always in their best interest. It's not like there's a rule when
right.
You should always sell that to folks.
Right.
You always have to look at the situation.
Yeah, exactly. So right now what they're required to do is to make sure that whatever product they sell you fits your goals and your risk tolerance. So they can't sell you something that's super aggressive when you're like, oh, I'm kind of afraid of the stock market. But they can, when faced with showing you two products, can show you the product that makes them more commission and not mention the other product at all. Because as long as a product is suitable for you, that's where the suitability rule comes in, then they're not required to show you the other product. They're just required to disclose the fees of the current product. So with this fiduciary rule, it's actually going to limit the products they're allowed to show so that they're only being showed in your best interest. So they're only showing you products that are in your best interest.
Okay.
So that people are saying, oh my God, people, we're limiting investors' options by saying you can only show them stuff in their best interest. That's one argument. So you can only
Whoa, is that wait? We're limiting the options by they were only showing stuff in their best interest.
I know.
Man.
I know, right?
That's a salesman-y, madman-esque thing,
isn't it? It's like it was driving me crazy researching this and being like, wait a minute. So you're mad that you can only show people the stuff that's good for them and not show them the stuff that is worse for them? Like, why is that? So there's that. And the other thing that they have to do now is if they want to sell you a product where they get a commission, they have to have you sign. They have to have you sign a best interest contract. So the client has to say, they have to sign a specific contract that says, I understand that this advisor is working in my best interest, even though he's getting paid a commission.
Okay. I like that.
So, yeah.
That's that. Anything that strengthens the bond of risk.
Yeah.
Between the advisor and advisee is what's up.
Yeah, totally. And so that's another argument that we're seeing right now is people are like, oh my God, this is going to cost so much more for the consumer because they're adding more paperwork and administrative stuff. And I'm like, really? That's why it's going to cost more for the consumer? Because you have to sign an extra piece of paper disclosing that, you're acting as their fiduciary? Really?
Yeah, because, more work is more money, right? Isn't that how life works?
Yeah, paper costs so much. So do electronic
They print money on
signatures.
paper. That's not true. They print money on cloth, but
Yeah. So, and the other part about this is right now, this fiduciary rule only affects retirement accounts. So
and this is only for retirement accounts anyway.
So it's not brokerage accounts. It's not anything that's held individually or as a joint or that you could. It's only IRAs. It's only 401ks. It's only pensions.
And if anybody needs more regulation to help them out in financial situations, it's seniors.
Yeah. And it's the people who, like I said, the middle class people, most of their investment money is in a retirement account.
And people who are, just a shout out since we in season where people care about their politics, my anti-regulation folks who think regulation is just a bad thing, you understand that we have regulation for minors because minors are not able to do all the things that they want to do for various reasons regarding biology. And the reality is seniors have been getting taken advantage of in financial matters by a number of scam artists from a number of angles.
Yep.
As things have gotten more digital, it's begun easier and easier. I was just hearing a story about a woman who got a fake call from a granddaughter. They learned the granddaughter's name and then called up crying, asking for money.
Oh, my God.
It's ridiculous. Then there's a number of statistical stuff to back this up. So if we need to look out for anybody in a regulatory manner, it's our seniors.
Yes. It is definitely the retirement stuff. So the other side of the rule, like I mentioned, is that they are going to say that financial professionals who even provide just one-time advice, they're going to also be subject to the fiduciary rule and the fiduciary standard. So this includes if you're at a seminar and you're giving a financial seminar talk or whatever, and someone asks you a question directly about, their own finances and you answer it, then you're subject to the fiduciary standard. So
Word.
Your advice has to be sound and you have to be like, I'm going to be accountable for this advice that I give you.
They should make y'all take that oath, too. What's that oath called?
What oath?
No,
the fiduciary oath?
Yeah, the fiduciary oath, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've taken.
Right?
So that's the thing is like, so wait, having someone be accountable for what they say is basically a violation of free speech is what people are saying about this.
That has been the argument. When
Yeah.
people have been complaining lately about their free speech being taken away, that's actually the argument they've been making.
They're like, I have to be accountable for the things I say? That's a violation of my First Amendment rights.
Even you hear your comedian who says like, oh, I want to say like racist or crazy or like specifically hurtful things. You're violating my free speech by not letting me say it. No, ain't nobody not letting you say it. It's just you might get punched after your set.
Yeah.
Which is a thing that could happen.
Yeah. You can say whatever you want. But especially in the case of a financial professional and someone who's saying they're a financial expert, you have to be responsible for it. That is your duty as someone who is put in this position.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, now that I'm all riled up, we have to go to a song so I can calm down. And we'll talk more about this afterwards.
All right. Well, we gonna bring it down. We gonna make it calm. We gonna have a song called Fiducia by a cat named Benevolent out of Texas.
Oh, I feel more calm.
Yeah, Benevolent. It's gonna be all right. Check you in a minute. Brunch and Budget, Bondfire Radio.
Maybe I define tradition. The days behind me listen to my transform to a higher state from my wishes. You optimist my prime, most left my sound lonely. So I tangle with the rhyme until the music calls me homie. I never really gave a damn about growing up, but easy with the system until knowledge is thrown up. So I hold closely to my mission, a character who's setting plots, climax, wishes, writing books with no pages, counting time with no age, swimming in seas of flames, kissing hate's many faces, talking to the voice of the faceless who couldn't pick a face cause his gaze was racist. Most are trapped in the box until the world says it's round, chained to silence until the rest says it sounds. Some search for the answer to this query. I conclude that man dominated man to his injury. So I continue to cling to a lover's heartstrings, where the other heart screams and another heart sings. Another heart schemes where all other hearts team. A lover's heart sings for another heartstring. So I continue to cling to a lover's heartstrings, where the other hearts scream and another heart sings. Another heart schemes where all other hearts team. A lover's heart sing for another. I'm the bringer of new voice, life, and emotion. A piece of love twisted with the promise that is stolen. Most are fantasy, I paint the minds that are dreaming. My skin has much feeling, tattooed with much reason. I tag my views in windows so both sides can see them. With roses in my heart but dead lilies on my feelings. Words too strong for the ears that are weakened. I can speak softly and have you feel as if I'm screaming. My existence of being separated from the usual, eyes reflecting pain in a voice that is musical. Never could I relate with what kills the rest. In this state we lose the most to gain the less. That's just another way of viewing evil. Most talk money, their virtues are killing people. I keep my heart closer so my ID is clear. The rest forget their own, cause they never check the mirror. So I continue to cling to a lover's heartstrings, where the other heart screams and another heart sings. Another heart schemes where all other hearts team. A lover's heart sing for another heartstring. So I continue to cling to a lover's heartstrings, where the other hearts scream and another heart sings. Another heart schemes where all other hearts team. A lover's heart sing for another. So I continue to cling to a lover's heartstrings, where the other heart screams and another heart sings. Another heart schemes where all other hearts team. A lover's heart sing for another heartstring. So I continue to cling to a lover's heartstrings, where the other hearts scream and another heart sings. Another heart schemes where all other hearts team. A lover's heart sing for another. I was just a lonely superhuman with a conscience and the will to dream in the life of the conscious. At least I had taken the uniqueness handed. Others search roboticism, no heart for romantics. Acting as if freedom's painted horribly. If one thought's unique, someone's calling the authorities. And who, me? Well, I'm just a criminal who murdered hatred and stole love to make miracles. Interrogated for jobs, interviewed by enemies, taking what's for granted while others misuse sanity. One after another, just killing your brothers. You say God doesn't exist because pain paints our colors? Instead of pointing to the sky, look within your eyes, and I promise you'll find that man causes their demise. Besides, I don't believe love comes in explosions. How can I be created by something with no emotions? No emotions. How is that possible? Maybe it's just that you don't believe in love.
And we're back. Brunch Budget, Bondfire Radio. That was Benevolent with Fiducia refuting what Pamela Capella had to say about doing things with no emotions. He said, no emotions? How is that possible?
No emotions.
Maybe you just don't believe in love.
Oh, come on. We all believe in love.
So, in other words, if you are looking for a good fiduciary, you need to find yourself a replicant or some other form of robot who doesn't believe in love, so that they can simply act in your best interest.
Yes.
Not the spam bots, though. They're not really for the best interest thing.
No.
You know, the ones that said that they make $7,000 a day online, they don't love you. Not those.
No, they don't. But they're not people.
That's what I'm saying. You need to go with not people.
We love you. We love you guys. We do. We do so much that we are taking a fiduciary oath about it. Dang it.
Yeah, you know, those oaths, it's messed up because they feel tarnished these days, but I feel like they're supposed to mean one. You're Hippocratics and all that. And
Yeah, well, and the thing is, like, I voluntarily took a fiduciary oath. No one's actually required to, like, sign an oath. It's something that is very much like in the financial industry. It's something that I felt strongly about. It's something that, you know, the network that I belong to, XY Planning Network, feels strongly about for all their advisors to sign something that literally says in writing, like, I have your best interest at heart. As a certified financial planner, all CFPs are required to be fiduciaries. So there are people in the industry already who have basically decided, I'm going to take on this license, and that means I'm going to take on this responsibility to you as a client and as an investor and say, listen, I'm looking out for you. I have the knowledge and the background, and I have your best interest at heart. And I think that that is really the bottom line. And I don't understand how people can make arguments about it, but they found ways. So I do want to read Paul Ryan, Speaker of the House, his personal stance or his official stance that is on speaker.gov about this Department of Labor ruling. He said, "Don't be fooled. In reality, this rule would create more paperwork and record-keeping requirements for planners, meaning higher costs for consumers. It would also mean less access and fewer options for small businesses trying to get up and running and families looking for financial advice. According to one independent analysis, up to 7 million current individual retirement accounts wouldn't qualify for advice under these new standards.
Wouldn't qualify for advice.
And as a result, individual investors with small balance accounts likely will lose access to retirement advice and support." This is what the Speaker of the House said. Now, I don't know about you, but I know a lot of registered investment advisors who are under the fiduciary standard who will gladly speak to somebody who has a small retirement account and won't have to put it into a product for you. I know a whole network of them. I know 3 networks of them. Go to natfa.org. Go to the Garrett Planning Network. Go to XY Planning. They will all talk to you. Believe me, I've met some of them. So first of all, the fact that he's saying no one's going to want to talk to these people who don't have any money is bullshit.
Word to that.
No one's going to want to talk to you if you only have $5,000 or whatever number is in his head. That's crazy. What he's saying is no one's going to try and come after you because they're not going to have the incentive to in the same way.
Yeah, that's that whole minimum wage argument. That's nonsense. If you raise the minimum wage, then no one's going to hire anybody.
Yeah, that can't be possible. People still need to work. People still need people to work for them. So then they're saying it would also mean less access and fewer options for small businesses. And that comment is because small businesses are usually the ones opening the small 401ks and the small pensions and things like that. Now, from my understanding of this rule, it sounds like that they are definitely going to have less options because all the crappy options, they will not be allowed to show them. You can only show options that are in the best interest of the client. So you can't show them the shitty stuff. Yes, there will be less options. I agree with that, Paul Ryan. There will definitely be less options. And it will create more paperwork and record-keeping requirements for planners.
I mean, but that sounds like stuff that they need to be doing. The whole thing about creating less options, there's a lot of weird brain psychology crap going on with giving people options. One of the things that people have paid attention to, we complain a lot about our two-party system, is that if we were to have more parties, we might have a more difficult time getting together a president, and that's been shown in other countries.
Yeah.
There is an issue with you having too many options. You know this. Whatever store you hate, everybody got a store they hate. Because when they walk into it, they already don't care too much about it, and then there's too many options, and your brain just glosses over. If you're not really a tool person, you go into that hardware store, and there's 1 billion hammers of every shape and size and kind.
I just want someone to tell me which hammer. That literally happened to me at Home Depot.
See?
I literally looked at the hammer wall, and I was like, oh my God, they all look the same, even though I know they're not. And I called someone over, and he pointed to one and said, that one, and I said, thank you, sir.
Oh, and by the way, all you cats who roll with the companies who make the sucker hammers, that hammer that if no one had advised you, you might have ended up buying, and then you hit the nail and it exploded into 1 million pieces and started crying because it's sentient and not a hammer for some reason.
Well, because anyone can make a hammer.
And
anyone can sell a hammer.
This is the worst. Remember, y'all are the worst kind of companies, and y'all don't need to exist. There's a problem with companies that already exist. We're like, we feel like we have a right to exist. If you're a hammer, don't hammer no nails. Bye.
Yeah.
And that's all that's happening.
Your product is irrelevant.
If your company does not help people out, then regulations will make sure that you stop existing.
Yeah.
Look, the Acme Arsenic Company, May used to make arsenic to sprinkle on top of your cereal back in the day. They don't exist no more.
It's gone.
The FDA,
Yeah.
Come on.
They're like, nah, food needs to be food.
Food needs to be food. and that's all that's happening here.
Yeah.
I know it gets
That's
really difficult because advice can seem nebulous, and it's a confusing thing of what's true and what's correct and what's opinion and all that type of stuff. But really, food just need to be food.
Yeah. Well, and when I was doing my research and digging, I found some sanity and solace with Michael Kitces. He is the advisor's advisor, and he writes a lot about the fiduciary rule and a lot about what it means to be a fiduciary. And one of the things that he said that I thought was really smart is that the key distinction is to realize that just because it's a fiduciary standard and it's more strict doesn't mean that it will be more costly to enforce. In fact, he says, it may even be less expensive to enforce because it's black and white. It's either good for you or it's not. Not, oh, maybe it's good for you. I have to disclose the parts that might not be good for you. We're just going to gloss over that right now. This is good enough for you. And with the fiduciary rule, it's like, yep, this is good for you. No, this is not. No questions about it, you know? And the other distinction that I thought he made that was really smart, and that's why I wanted to really hone in on it, is the difference between someone who's an advisor and a salesperson. It's not about whether you speak to someone who's under the suitability rule or the fiduciary rule. It's about whether you're speaking to someone who's giving you advice or someone who's trying to sell you something. That's the difference and the distinction that people are making with this rule. They're saying, are you actually getting advice and then getting the product that you need to fit that advice? Or is someone trying to sell you a product so they can make money off of you? That's it. And the other argument that I really wanted to dispel is it going to cost more for the consumer if they invest with someone who charges them, 1% for assets under management, which is pretty average, or if they go with a commission-based product? So I actually went to FINRA's mutual fund expense analyzer and picked two mutual funds that were pretty similar. I picked the American Funds Growth Fund A shares, which are front-loaded mutual funds, which means that the commission gets paid up front to the broker. And I also picked the Vanguard Growth Index Fund investor shares, which doesn't have any fees associated with it or any charges associated with it. So just to give you an idea, I put it in, if someone invested $10,000 over 10 years with the American Funds Growth Fund that has the commission to the advisor, the total charges would be $1,337 over 10 years, right? Mm-hmm. So then we have the Vanguard Growth Index Fund, $10,000 invested over 10 years. It would cost $292, no sales charge. Mm-hmm. And then if an advisor were to charge you 1% over 10 years, that would be about $1,000. So really, it's not costing the consumer any more.
Yeah, that all adds up to about the same.
The advisor gets more money. The advisor in the first scenario gets $575 in an upfront sales charge. The advisor in the second scenario, charging 1% assets under management and putting them in a very similar fund, gets $1,000 over 10 years.
Well, remember, the thing about the advisors, worrying about losing money, the advisors weren't going to be the ones losing money. They're not the ones in this equation that are the ones with something to lose. It's like when you go to a psychologist or a psychiatrist specifically, you go to a psychiatrist and they immediately want to prescribe you something. Those guys are advocating for doing that, but those are not the guys whose whole livelihood are on the line.
Right.
It's the pharmaceutical companies.
Right.
Who are the ones who are lobbying it. Yeah, American funds are the ones. It's not the analysts. The analysts will complain about they losing money, but they're doing that because they are tied to these dudes.
Yeah, totally.
And those are the ones that are sweating.
Well, and the other part about the commission side of it is it's just way less transparent. So it's much easier to hide the fees and make it feel like the consumer's not really paying anything.
Right.
How many people are gonna run their mutual funds through the FINRA mutual fund expense analyzer, which you can totally Google FINRA mutual fund expense analyzer if you want to know how much it's costing you to buy these shares. It's really easy to do that. Google it, find the ticker symbol, and throw it in there if you really are curious, which you should be because it's really easy to do. Versus having someone have to tell you, I'm going to charge you X amount of money every year. This is what it's going to cost. It's going to be there in black and white. Are you okay with that or not? you know? So I think that it's really just about how you're displaying the money being paid at the end of the day for the consumer. And so people can say, oh, well, they're just going to get charged more money. It's going to cost more for the consumer. We're going to have to do more paperwork. They're going to have to go through all these different channels, and advisors are going to have to charge them extra fees. It's like, no, they don't. You're going to make the same amount. And the reality is, what I've seen in this industry happening right now is a lot of advisors are moving away from commissions and towards the registered investment advisor model because they have more freedom. They don't have to sell products. Their income is not tied to commissions. And it just means that they can actually serve the client better. Yeah, so the trend is going this way anyway.
Because so you can do your job.
You can do your job.
So you can do your actual job. Man, that's the worst thing about being any kind of creator of things or advisor to things or educator of things is when you also have to sell crap.
Yeah.
Anytime I've had a position where part of my job was selling some sort of product, well, I wasn't in that position long because it messes with your ability not only to be impartial but to be effective.
Yeah, totally. Well, and that's the other thing too is like if you can't do it this way anymore, if you really care about the business that you're in, you're going to find another way to serve your clients. If you're in it for the commission, then you're in the wrong business. Right?
This is what I'm saying.
So,
because, you could be sales. You could be a salesperson all day long.
Yeah, you could sell anything.
But if you sales, you sales.
Yeah.
And power to all you people who are salespeople, love being sellers. That's all good.
Yeah.
But if you make it and do it, make and do.
Oh, my God, people. So, yeah.
Can we go to a song? Can we go to a song?
Is it time to go to a song already?
Yeah,
are you ready?
It's
okay.
we feeling...
Okay, but after the song, we're going to go
man.
In on this First Amendment argument.
This is messing with my brain. We're getting a little too spaced out, so we're going to go to this song.
Can we go to a brunch break first?
Excuse me. Yes, let's brunch break.
Let's do a brunch break. So, our brunch break today, Dyalekt and I actually have an announcement.
What?
We got married last week.
We did.
And our brunch break is actually a shout out to the New Orleans Tattoo Museum where we had our marriage ceremony. Wedding ceremony, whatever you want to call it.
Is this our wedding bed music, Keish? We got shout out to Tasty Keish on the boards with the wedding bed music.
Yeah, I love it. So shout out to New Orleans Tattoo Museum. If you are ever in New Orleans, they are an awesome tattoo spot. They actually are a museum. Adam, the owner, is a second-generation tattoo artist. So his dad was a tattoo artist, and now he's a tattoo artist. They literally just, hooked us up. Dyalekt got an awesome...
Literal hooks. They put them in our bodies and dripped ink into it.
But they were just a class act all around. So if you need a tattoo in New Orleans, if you're wandering around...
Oh, yeah, we got tattoo wedding bands that they performed for us simultaneously at the ceremony while Mama Lect sang Home from Stephanie Mills from The Wiz. And by the time she was done singing Home, they were done cutting into our flesh.
Yes, and now we have wedding ring tattoos. So
can't lose that sucker in the dishwasher.
You really can't. So it's it's NOLAtattoomuseum.com if you want to check out. They have a ton of art up there, a ton of pieces. The museum is super cool if you just want to know the history of tattoo making. It actually was illegal in a lot of places until the 70s.
Yeah, so when you think about how your parents are weird about tattoos, it's because they grew up with them being an illegal thing when they were kids. And you probably think the same way about a lot of drugs that are legal now because you grew up with it being illegal. It sets stuff in your brain, so forgive them for that.
Yes, totally. And now everyone has that tattoo, including me. So there we go. So now we can go to a song. Thank you, NOLA Tattoo Museum, for everything. Yes. We had a great time.
Yes. Shout out to NOLA Tattoo Museum. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful folks. All right, now we're going to play some music for y'all. This is some Bond family of mine. I've known this cat for a long time. DJ Rob Flo featuring Ark Medina from Tomorrow's Weapons and Sweepy. It's called Spaced Out. Check in a minute. Brunch Budget. Bonfire Radio.
System out. Spaced out. Yeah. Spaced out. High as an eagle. Still on point. Put a thread through the eye of a needle. Blindfolded. Just like how they got all our people. Man, I'm just trying to even out the hostility. with a crew of misfits. Always misconstrued cause my views were different, or maybe too futuristic. See, I'm gifted, I spit apocalyptic rhythmic linguistics. Tell the pastor only answer to his master. The kingdoms within, their gods been manufactured. Gotta put your faith in it. If it ain't victory worthy, then why engage in it? See, I wish no man my enemy, still I fear no man identity. I'm my own man in a no man land. Gotta throw hands with Conan ability, threatening homeland security. Such conspiracy.
All up in a rat race and coming in last. Shit, we coming up fast off the dome. Exponents showing opponents, they blown it. Man, we own it. The game is all real estate. We in the zone, bitch. Deep brain tissue massage in the middle of the pineal. In a menage, denouncing the list of tactics. A mile long, walk a mile long in my shoes. Yeah, the tribe is strong. We them boys, your ego, white noise. Trouble for you, read W.E.B. Du Bois. Bad as fuck like Helena Troy. Making dough and donations to the girls and the boys. Scarred from wars, balls like the motherfucking PIC. Word to my third, EYE. Transmitting live from your solar system. Don't look at the radio, the television. I must make the beat about the bang you a visit. Don't need an internet connection into my dimension.
I'm like a UFO from a galaxy. Things are actually what they seem. You're in about virtual reality.
Send you off like this. Yo, my thoughts buzz frantically like wasps under glass. Gestalt flow inaugural, watching the top brass. Ain't gotta brag about it, I ain't flocking the trash. I pimp strut down blocks, pushing along tribe's path. Approve that, after you peruse that, think that I'm a new jack. Did he bring that back or do we still use that? True that, constantly a Luke cat. Standing on the dark side of the moon, checking where the party at, not even knocking that. Folks been knowing the soul glow, got the flow going. Choosing what's next, watching my folks growing. We at the show showing out, ghost flow, fill specters with a wall of sound. NYC, my stomping ground. Love to the bay in the background. Bloodhound for beats, put your track down. My Mac hand down, I win hands down. Blow your system out.
Yeah. Welcome back. It's Brunch Budget, Bondfire Radio. That is DJ Rob Flo featuring Ark Medina and Sweepy. Ark Medina from Tomorrow's Weapons. Got that new junk. Rob Flo's been a dope DJ and MC on the scene for some years now. Started his own labels, doing some stuff with K-Gangs and Sleepwalkers and all sorts of fam. So check out the stuff he's doing. And today, we talking about the fiduciary rules. It's like I don't know, you sports fans, if y'all remember the Jordan rules. It was when the Detroit Pistons made it up because Michael Jordan was too good at basketball. So the Jordan rules the rule was every time he came into the lane, you clothesline him like it was a wrestling match. And that was the rule. You had to put him down. And that's what's going on today because right now we got all these untouchable mommy bloggers all up on the internet giving financial advice and nobody's hand checking them. So what they saying right now is, you come with some bad financial advice, you're going to get put into the stands.
Yes. Okay, that's hilarious. I do want to clarify that you can give general advice, including mommy blogs, as long as you're not giving direct advice and telling someone you personally need to do this.
Well, it's the educational thing, right?
Yes.
If you've got a blog where you're giving overall education, and that is, I don't want to diss anybody who's done independent research and has their thing that they're putting out, but individualized advice is such it's more dangerous.
It is more dangerous. It's more dangerous. You're telling someone, hey, I'm helping you make this decision, and based on all of my knowledge of things and my knowledge of you, I think that you should do this. That's what I do. That's what financial planners do.
It's fine to write your blog about what a healthy diet is,
Yeah.
but you don't know everybody's dietary restrictions. So if you were to give some individual some diet plan and they're allergic to nuts and it's chock full of nuts, well, that's your behind.
That is your behind. A chock full of nuts.
You know.
These images, I just love it. So I do want to talk about the other side of the fiduciary rule, where they are actually going to start regulating financial professionals. That's what we're talking about right now.
Yep.
Whether or not it's one-off advice or whatever it is, if it's individualized advice, then you will also be subject to the fiduciary rule. And the arguments I have heard about this have just blown my mind. We've mentioned it a couple times, and I'm still like, really? People are like, this is an infringement on First Amendment rights.
All right, so
This
why
is
is
an
it?
infringement
Why
on
is it
free
not?
speech.
I know we know it's not, but why is it not?
Okay, so here's the thing. David Ramsey can say whatever he wants to whoever he wants. The fact is, he is telling people and presenting himself as a financial professional. So he can say whatever he wants, but if he's giving people financial advice, he, like any other financial professional, should be subject to be held accountable to the advice that he is giving. If he gives the wrong advice, then he should be responsible for the consequences.
Like malpractice.
Yeah, like any doctor or therapist or attorney,
Like any job
Accountant.
that's important to you and your livelihood.
like any profession, he should be accountable to the advice that he gives you, because he's telling you, hey, I am telling you this. I know I'm right. I've studied all the things and done all the things, and you're turning to me as someone who's an expert, and I'm telling you directly that you should do this. That's literally what he does on his show.
I mean, that
He
sounds like
takes
profession
calls, someone asks him a question, and he tells them, well, I think you should do this. So it's not like he's just generally educating the public. It's not like his books are under fire. And here's the other side of it is Dave Ramsey makes money off of his books. He also makes money off what he calls endorsed local providers.
to me. Let's
So
go.
he
Let's
has-
talk about that.
Yes, so he has actually a referral network that he tells people, yo, put in your information into this site. He probably doesn't say yo. Put your information into this site, and I'm going to connect you with someone in your local area, and they're going to help you with your finance stuff. So he has incentive to have people call him, to give them advice, and then to send them to these people who are paying him a referral fee for being a part of his network.
So you're getting paid on both ends there.
So he's getting paid, even though they can make the argument that, oh, he's giving out free advice to these people who call in. He's not charging them. He's getting paid, and that's the main twist with this fiduciary rule is if you're getting compensated in any way for giving financial advice to somebody, it doesn't have to be the client giving you the money directly, then you are subject to the fiduciary standard, period.
Because, I mean, it's a conflict of interest right there.
Straight up. He's-
In the most strict definition.
Yeah. So he is someone, and people, I don't understand where this turned into a free speech conversation at all. But it has. Like, here's the craziest part. So this guy from the American Spectator, John Berlow, he started his article with, it's so sad that 40% of millennials favor government banning speech they deem offensive. Take speech about personal finance, for instance.
Wow.
So he said he basically equated someone speaking offensively or speaking hatefully to someone giving financial advice.
Also, none of these rules have you getting arrested. All you punk-ass non-fiduciary
For real.
who need to be under fiduciary rule, ain't nobody putting your behind in jail, so there's no freedom of speech issue going on.
Yes.
No gulags.
No. Oh my God. So all of this stuff is like, I don't even know how to respond to this. But here's the thing. Again, a beacon of sanity, Michael Kitsis. This is like the ideal. If we took fiduciary rules to an extreme, this is what it could look like. So, for instance, let's say you're an insurance agent, Dyalekt.
I'm an insurance agent.
You're an insurance agent and you sell insurance policies. And someone, he's like making it rain with the insurance policies.
Yeah, policies.
So someone comes to you and they want to buy an insurance policy, and you show them the benefits of the various insurance policies that you're
Got
selling.
'em all. You got 'em in my pocket.
And they ask you, but is this the policy that's right for me?
Right.
And you say,
Well, this is the policy that is right for you, of course.
no, but under the fiduciary rule, you might actually have to get to the point where you say, sorry, I actually can't give you advice on that. You have to talk to your financial planner. You're just selling the policy and saying, here's all the awesome stuff about this policy. But when a client asks you, is this the right policy for me? Because you're incentivized to sell the policy, you can't tell them yes or no.
That sounds great.
Doesn't that sound awesome?
I mean,
It's like you have to go and talk to your unbiased financial advisor who has your best interest at heart instead of asking me, who is incentivized to sell you something.
I do have to say, it does sound annoying to me, but I'm not unlike many other retailers who also have to go through that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to talk to someone. I want to go buy a new stereo. I go down to Best Buy, and I'm like, so which one do you think is the best stereo? And whenever I talk to them, they say, well, I can't actually tell you which is the best stereo is. You have to talk to your wife first.
She's taken the fiduciary oath.
Exactly.
Well, I
So
literally
I
have,
understand. It's a little bit extra more work, but it's better for the consumer.
Yes, exactly. So that is what it could look like in a beautiful world. We're not even there yet. We're honestly just talking about retirement accounts and the financial professionals who are saying, I can give you advice because of whatever reason.
Again, stop trying to screw over old folks.
Yes. Old folks and people, honestly, like, the financial world is so complex.
Or the young retirees out there.
Well, I mean, anyone. The financial world is so complex, and this is why we try and, like, unpack everything, and why it takes an hour to do it is because there's so much going on. Like, look how confusing bear and bull markets got, and that doesn't even really have anything to do with your personal financial life, honestly.
No, I have nothing to do with nothing, as we found.
No, it doesn't. So when it comes down to someone actually giving you advice and telling you, yes, you should do this, no, you should not do that, then why is it not a given that they have your best interest at heart?
Yeah.
That's all this rule is trying to do. And it's baby steps.
And one thing for finance folks, really about that, this is really hugely important. People trust doctors to this day.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, doctors are going through some of the same issues where a lot of them are salespeople and a lot of them are asked to do things that they don't agree
Big
with
pharma,
and all this.
all that stuff. Yep.
But because of the Hippocratic Oath and the regulations that they have gone through for years, we still have a lot of faith and belief in them. What industry does no one trust or believe or think is a real thing is finance.
Yep.
Everybody has a negative, I mean, not everybody, but so many people have a negative opinion of finance. And if you want to, and as many financial advisors have said, they want to rehabilitate that image, this is a giant step in that direction.
Yes, totally. And here's the thing. It's your choice whether or not you want to be under fiduciary rule. Because here's the thing. You don't have to be giving financial advice. So one other line that I just have to say from Michael Kitsis is, if you don't want to be treated as a fiduciary, that's fine. Just don't offer advice, and don't hold yourself out as someone who gives advice.
That's
it. It's up to you. No one's stopping you from selling these products, right?
Right. I want to say, to continue our analogies, if you have a YouTube show where you review video games or whatever, and you don't like it when someone doesn't like your assessment of the new Fallout game, and you start complaining they're taking away your right to free speech and all, you don't have to review that game. No one asked you. They was going to play it anyway.
Yeah.
If you have a desperate need to tell people how you feel about the new Fallout, well, then maybe you should register with somebody.
Exactly.
I don't know if there is a video game fiduciary standard equivalent, but maybe there should be.
I think the stakes are a little lower. I mean, I could be wrong.
It's like the end of come on, it's a video game. It's the fate of the world. It's at stake.
You're right. What could be more high stakes than that? But that's the bottom line. Is like, if you don't want to be held to a fiduciary standard, you don't have to be. You just can't be giving advice. So these are the rules. If you want to give advice, you have to be held to a fiduciary standard. If you don't want to be held to that standard, don't give advice. Ta-da! The end.
We can't make it more simpler.
I don't know how much simpler it could get. No one is forcing you to do anything. No one is telling you not to give advice. No one is taking away your First Amendment rights. They're just saying, yo, when you say something and it affects someone else, you kind of have to be responsible for it, you know? That's it. That's it.
Yeah, you know they say if you see something, say something. No, forget that. If you say something, mean something, and have stuff that backs it up.
Oh, that's so nice.
That would be way longer. Anyway,
it won't fit on a billboard.
We don't get on out of here, out of
We
your
are.
hair.
Oh, and if you are listening on iTunes and you like the show, please leave a comment if you find the info valuable and subscribe. It helps more people find us. Thank you so much for listening. Hashtag Money Needs Me.
Money Needs Me. And subscribe to all of the shows on Bondfire Radio. We have a billion of them, and they keep on expanding.
Yeah. TK and the AM is about to hit their 500th.
500 shows.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
Man, I don't even know 500 people. All right, we're going to leave you off. We're going to go to France. I always like the interesting France. Yeah, we have the Chico Band with the Fiduciary finale to end it off here at Brunch Budget, Bonfire Radio. Thanks. Check out next week.